It's time for your home with Elise McCollumn from Bullfrog Construction on AM 1480 WLEA. Here's Elise.
Good morning and welcome to your home. My name is Elise McCollumn from Bullfrog Construction, and I'm glad you've joined us this morning. I'll be your host for the next 30 minutes. Your Home is a bi-weekly talk show focusing on all aspects of home ownership. Each show will feature a guest or guests who specialize in some aspect of home maintenance, repair, remodeling, and any and all aspects of your home, both inside and out. And as a reminder, we'll be giving the Bullfrog Tip of the Week here in a moment. If you have a question or you'd like to, or something you'd like answered on the show, please feel free to email me at elise@bullfrogconstructionllc.com. That's elise@bullfrogconstructionllc.com, or text me at 585-737-4553, 585-737-4553, and I would be glad to answer the question on the air for you. But now let's go ahead and meet our special guest for this week. This morning, I have a very special show, and I'm so happy that everybody's here this morning. We're kicking off the holidays here on Your Home with a great group of guests, and we'll be talking about holiday traditions in your home today. Today we have a full station, some standing room only here today. Our special guests today are Bob Connington and Kelly LaCrosse from Bullfrog Realty, John Lewis and Donna Odell right here at WLEA, and we've got Brittany Bolduc from the New Life Assembly of God Church in North Hornell, and Val Slate from Maple City Savings Bank. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, that was wonderful. Good morning, teacher. That was great. So before we get started this morning, though, guys, I always like to give out the Bullfrog Tip of the Week. So the Bullfrog Tip of the Week this week, guys, is make a list. This probably is the best advice I could give to everyone over the holidays. With so much to do and remember, a list is a simple solution. Your list could include everything from gifts and food shopping to cleaning, decorating, people that you want to make a point to see, and so nothing is left undone and everything's taken care of. Make a list. It's just going to be so much less stress for you. It'll help you to keep track of everything, and your holiday will be much, much more enjoyable. So when you hear the Bullfrog Ribbit Ribbit, be the first caller to give the correct tip of the week. Make a list, and you'll win a great prize package from Bullfrog Construction, which will include a gift certificate to Yum Frozen Yogurt, and it is yummy, and an official Bullfrog t-shirt and some other Bullfrog and Armor building supply goodies. So listen for the Ribbit Ribbit. Be the first caller at 324-1480. That's 324-1480 with this week's tip, make a list, and you'll be our winner. Good luck. So I'm glad you've all joined me this morning here on Your Home, and I'm excited to spend some time with this great group of people talking and sharing our family's holiday traditions with our Your Home audience today. I'll also be reading some texts and emails from our listeners who wanted to share their special traditions. So let's get started, and the question is, who's going to start us off here this morning? Donna, go ahead.
I'll do it.
Sure, Donna, please do.
I would too, but Donna, go
ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Donna, please.
I'll go. Our family tradition with my daughter and I, my granddaughter, is the Christmas Eve thing. We do a fancy dinner. We turn all the lights out. We just have Christmas music. We get all dressed up. We have dinner at 6 or 6:30, and we just have dinner and relax. And then it's time for the little ones to go to sleep, which is why we ever initially started it. It was a calm down period, but even though my daughter's 26 now, she continues that.
Does she carry it on with her daughter?
We do it. We do it at this point every year at my house. At some point, we'll probably switch that, but it gives my granddaughter a quiet down period, a dress up period, and then they go home and she goes to sleep and
then it's Christmas morning.
And then it's Christmas morning.
Who prepares the food?
I mostly do the food. Shannon usually brings something, and we have a couple specific things that we always have, like the stuffed mushrooms, and then we change it up every year. But yeah, that's our main one.
So it's a nice, quiet, intimate time.
Yeah.
Together with your daughter and your granddaughter.
Yep.
Which is beautiful. Who else would like to share something related to one of their holiday traditions?
Well, and this is John. Don and I are pretty comfortable on the bike, so we can kind of get us started today.
Yeah.
But it's funny Donna mentions Christmas Eve, because that's kind of what starts it off for us as well. Meal. Now, my mom's from Bradford, PA, and that's typically where we do holidays. And the beef and barrel and Olean, beef on wick is pretty prominent in that area. So that's usually that Christmas Eve dinner, believe it or not, like the beef on wick, and then Christmas Day, you know, a dinner as well of ham or whatever it may be. But there's that, and then something else, and you may get in this in other shows as you get talking about Santa Claus.
Oh yeah,
whatnot.
sure.
But something that I always appreciated was on Christmas morning. Donna mentioned, you know, the little ones go to bed, get ready for that next day. But on Christmas morning in our household, Santa was told they didn't need to spend time to wrap gifts. Santa's workshop didn't have to wrap the gifts.
Oh, okay.
So when you would come down the stairs or around the corner into where the chimney is or wherever the gifts are from Santa, you would see wrapped gifts from family, maybe, but maybe those 2 or 3 or whatever they were from Santa Claus just unwrapped. You might see a football, whatever it is,
and
you knew,
nice.
oh wow, you're running towards them almost. I have a football, you know,
That's
and
right.
that was from Santa Claus.
Yeah, everybody's
at
running.
least in our household, they
Yeah.
didn't have time to wrap those gifts, and that let you know who they were from.
So I appreciate that, John. You know, when you talk about today's tradition of eating with your family and so on and so forth, and you also talk about what it was like when you were a kid.
Right.
And I have two different myself. The traditions that my family did when I was a kid, and I'll share those in a while. And then what I carried into, you know, with my family as my children got older is different than what it was when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And so I'd love you guys to be able to think back for a minute and turn the clock back to when you were a little kid sitting in your home, you know, waiting for the big moment, you know, and all because it's really such a big build up to Christmas. And I mean, and today it's insane. I mean, we start Christmas in August. You know what I'm saying? It's just gotten such a, you know, commercially, Christmas has grown to a point where it's really, it's almost sad that the holidays collide with each other. Thanksgiving gets lost in the mix of Christmas, and Thanksgiving is, you know, should stand on its own 2 feet. And there are Thanksgiving traditions. So John, what do you do for Thanksgiving usually today?
Oh, it really depends, and this is where I'm at an age where I have a long-term girlfriend. So we incorporate both.
Is there a wedding coming down the road at some point? I'm not putting you. I'm trying to get the scoop this morning.
Here on the
that
radio.
would be a great holiday time.
We'll have to see if she's got the dial on.
Oh yeah.
But we'll visit both families, and I know a lot of couples that are my friends who are my age will go see one set of families.
My kids do that.
Yeah, so
they go around,
that makes it a little more difficult. But this year we're going. My girlfriend's from Rochester. We're going to start. We started Thanksgiving with them in the morning, doing the turkey trot in Webster, just because we'll be up there, and then afterwards going to visit my family as well.
Very good, very good. And there's a lot of things today that go on with Thanksgiving, and I'm saddened actually a little bit. And you guys, if you thought about it, it used to be that the shopping started on the next day, and people spent their time with their families, and maybe they watched Christmas movies, or they sat around the table and they had time for dessert and so on. And today, it's a race at 5 o'clock to get in line to get that, you know, $300 TV that you've been waiting for all year that you're going to save like $70 on or something.
Right.
It's not even worth it. But people are out, and it's just there's no time with the family. And it's kind of sad to see that happen, that we've allowed the retail to kind of take over the holiday on us. And we don't have to do that, though. We can actually stand our ground and not be part of that. And I think we'll be blessed for doing that, actually. Our family will see an example.
Well, I think one of the things that's happening now, if you've watched it the past 2 years, is because of that, more and more retailers are starting the whole week ahead of time.
They are.
So it's not all jammed into one day. So I think that helps.
That's very good. I'd like to read some folks sent me some emails and some text messages, and they actually hit me on Facebook with some, these are folks from different places. And Kathy Vavanese from Rochester wrote, "We used to go and cut down a fresh Christmas tree. This is when she was a child. A long needle and a big one that barely fit in the house." And she was laughing. She says, laugh out loud right there. "We used the old-fashioned lights, the big ones. You know, the old big lights on the tree. And we had a few blinkers and a few bubblers too that would set the tree off. And she said the final touch was to string the red shiny beads that made it glimmer. And we also made lots of cookies. My mom made these chocolate round cookies that she said were chocolate meatballs because they're a 100% Italian family, and she called them chocolate meatballs. But I always loved the Santa cutout with the big backpack on the best. And everybody can remember the old cookie cutters. Today they're all plastic, but the old cookie cutters, and Bob is a baker. I know Bob cooks and prepares lots, and we're going to talk to you in a minute, Bob, about that, because I know that's a big thing in your family is the meal and getting everything ready. I remember the old metal cookie cutters. You get them out, and there was the star, and there was the snowman, and all those things. Well, Kathy loved the Santa with the backpack. She said she spent lots of time frosting and decorating them to look real. She said it was such great memories for her. So, maybe Bob, you could talk about that just for a minute about what you do. Maybe as a kid, when your mom and dad were your mom. I don't think I know your mom and dad are both gone.
Right.
And and then what you do today with your family.
Well, usually we spend Thanksgiving together. We cook a big meal, ham, turkey, the whole works.
Yep.
We have Thanksgiving together. And then Christmas Eve, I do up a Christmas box for the kids that they can open on Christmas Eve. Consists of pajamas, a movie, a book,
nice,
popcorn, hot cocoa.
I want to come to your house.
Just a gift that they can open on Christmas Eve. And then we make, I don't know how many different kinds of cookies and candies and fudges that we give for gifts and give out to everybody for the Christmas holiday.
Very nice, very nice. And what was it like when in your home, Bob, when you were a kid? Is that the same thing your mom did? Did she make a big meal and made lots of cookies? I mean, where did you pick up those traditions?
Yeah, my mother made lots of cookies, and back then we had my grandmother around.
Yep.
She always made us popcorn balls.
Oh, nice.
That's one thing I can't do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I remember as a kid, my parents slept downstairs, we slept upstairs. We'd creep down the stairs at 4 or 5 in the morning and get told, get back upstairs.
So that's nice. So I know that the Coddington family is... I know you guys, you're prepared for days and days, Bob, because I know, I've had parties and stuff, and Bob's like, I've got to go back. I've got some cooking and baking to do to get ready for the holiday and for your own get-together. So, and I know that it's a real nice time in your home. And so I'm going to read another before the break here, I'm going to read another memory that somebody shared from here in Hornell. Kathy Hartwell writes and says, the tradition we've had for many years is that I made with our 2 grandchildren. She says, I made their favorite dinner while they decorated the tree. This is for her 2 grandchildren. And they played Charlie Brown's Christmas on the TV and the music and so on and so forth. The first decorations on the tree are small Christmas frames with pictures of our loved ones that are no longer with us, taking their place of honor on that tree. It always made us feel as if they were still part of our Christmas. It's a tradition and a memory that Dick and I will treasure forever. So, and I think most people at Christmas time always think back to the people that they've lost, people that, along the way. And certainly that's a real nice a memory that Kathy shared with us, and I thank you for doing that, Kathy. Listen, the clock's running quickly on us. We need to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Are your windows hard to open? And some do open, but won't stay open.
Oh boy.
Honey, call Bullfrog.
Are your windows drafty and cold?
Honey, call Bullfrog.
Is cleaning your windows a real pain? And have you had enough of high fuel bills?
Honey, call Bullfrog.
At Bullfrog, we make replacing your windows both easy and affordable and can save you up to 50% off your fuel bills. Never requires painting and makes cleaning a breeze. Call Bullfrog today for a free quote at 585-737-4553. That's 585-737-4553. Ask about Bullfrog's free window promotion going on right now. At Bullfrog, your pad is our priority.
It's time for the Bullfrog Tip of the Week. Call us now. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us this morning here on Your Home. I'm your host, Elise McCollumn from Bullfrog Construction, and I'm joined here this morning by a great group of folks. We're talking holiday traditions in your home. And Brittany. Brittany's is the pastor up at New Life Christian Church, Assembly of God Church in North Hornell. She and her husband, I actually go to church there, and she's got a family of young kids. And being a pastor of a church, it's probably, maybe you have a little different perspective, but you still have traditions when you were a kid, and you still have the traditions that you carry on in your family now. So maybe you could talk just for a second about that.
Sure. So when I was a kid, Christmas for us actually started Thanksgiving night. So we would go home from my grandmother's house on Thanksgiving, and we would get bundled up in our snowsuits. And my mom was a Christmas decoration fiend. I mean, everything that you could possibly think of, she had. And so we would go home and we would start decorating the lawn with Christmas decorations. And it seemed to always happen in a blizzard. And so we lived up in the Adirondacks of New York, and it just seemed that it would always be snowing whenever we would go home and we would start decorating. So that was probably...
It makes it special, though, doesn't it, when the snow starts to come?
It does. It makes it cold, and it makes the stakes harder to go in the ground.
Yeah, so. There you go. I've been in that. I've had that moment, actually. Very good.
So that was really good. Now, though, things are a lot different for us. I still love Christmas decorations, but I don't really like the cold. So I decorate inside of the house. And so even though it's not Christmas yet, I have a whole bunch of projects going, which is going to decorate our home for Christmas. Everything is pretty much made by me or by my husband.
And you're a Pinterest fan, I know
that.
Yes,
I'm a Pinterest fan,
lover.
so everything is DIY.
Yep,
so my house is Christmas treed up at the moment, not with decorations, just because they're being made. So Christmas Day for us it can be different sometimes, because sometimes Christmas falls on a Sunday, so we might have church, but my kids absolutely love Christmas. On Christmas Eve, we will bake a cake. And so that's just family time. We have good, fun family time baking a cake on Christmas Eve. And then when we wake up on Christmas morning, the first thing that we do is we have cake for breakfast. And
wow. So nice. I like that.
The cake has candles, and we sing happy birthday because we're celebrating the birth of Christ. And so
Beautiful.
We sing happy birthday to Jesus. And then my kids get to eat cake for breakfast.
Very
so they
good.
love it. And then they go and open their presents.
Beautiful, beautiful. Great. Wow, that's fun. Cake for breakfast. I love that. What a great idea. And so you have four kids.
I have 4 children.
4 children.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. I'm counting them when I see them at church. The 3 boys and the little girl.
Yes.
And so Santa Claus, the wise men, all these different things all the different ways that gifts are given. Some folks, like John had mentioned, the gifts from Santa were unwrapped and ready. The gifts from others were there. In a Christian home like that, do you handle things differently with Santa Claus? Because, we all love Santa. We knew Santa as a child. You knew Santa.
Yeah.
And, there's certainly, we love Santa. In fact, we've got an announcement coming up later on in the show. Keep listening about Santa Claus. And so what about that? What are the kids,
So my kids do know who Santa Claus is.
Beautiful.
We do talk about him as Saint Nicholas. And so we talk about the story of Saint Nicholas and
Beautiful.
who he was and why he brought gifts to children. And so so my kids do know about that. I have 6, 4, 2 and 1. 6, 4, 2 and 1. And so my 6-year-old is the one who really is just starting to understand. When on Christmas, though, Santa Claus doesn't bring my family gifts. We do gifts from the 3 wise men. So we do a gold gift, which is the gift that's really, really desired, the one thing that my kids might ask for. And then we do a frankincense gift, which is a gift for your personal body, something that you would wear. Frankincense was used as a perfume, and so my kids might get pajamas or a new outfit or new shoes or something like that, and then we'll do a myrrh gift, and that's usually something for their spirit, So they would have a book or
very good, interesting.
Yeah. So
that's really great. And I've read actually because I've read a lot, and we're going to talk more about this on the next show here at Your Home that we do because we're going to celebrate the holidays on Your Home here for the next couple of shows till we get to the new year. And other countries, it's the wise men, the three wise men that bring the gifts to the children. Not that Santa Claus isn't in the picture or St. Nicholas, but it's the wise men. So it's different traditions. We have to remember that Christmas is celebrated around the world. It's when we look at our Main Street in Hornell and we see all of this, it's different in Mexico than it is in the Christians in Africa or Christians in other places around the world who celebrate Christmas. And there's other celebrations going on right now. The Jewish have their holidays going on right now. There's Kwanzaa. There's lots of different celebrations going on at this time of year. As Christians, we celebrate the birth of Christ, and that's what Christmas, is. And so that's a great memory that you share. And I'm going to share my memory here just real quick. As a child, I remembered the excitement of getting out all the Christmas decorations and helping my parents to decorate while the old traditional Christmas music was playing on the record player, which is, I guess record players are back now, but the big old console, you set them on and it was Andy Williams singing, and all the old traditional stuff. Today there's a lot of commercial, and there was no Mariah Carey's at the time or George Michael or none of this stuff when I was a kid. It was the traditional stuff being sung. And I can remember those songs when I hear those songs, it takes me back to a time, just like when you hear certain music today, it takes you to a time maybe when you were in high school or whatever, and you can play that, and it just because it did write something on your heart in your life at times in your life, and that was one thing. If it was snowing outside, it added the magic to the moment. You know what I'm saying? If you were decorating, it was snowing, it was like, wow, this is really good now. It's snowing. And for entertainment, we used to get our pajamas on, and we'd drive around town looking at the decorations. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, so for entertainment, we'd get the pajamas on and we'd go out and look at what everybody else had for lights up around town. And it was actually quite entertaining. We enjoyed it, going out and seeing the decorations. Now today, if I was a kid today going out there, I'd be like, wow, this is like being in Disneyland. I mean, people, it's crazy out there how people, but some people, that's their tradition. They decorate the outside. Clark Griswold, when he was going to plug the lights in on Christmas Vacation and it didn't work, it was like a broken-hearted moment for him. If you remember that, if you look at that movie and think back, it was really interesting. Then on Christmas Eve, we would all gather at my grandparents' home. We'd share a meal, give gifts, and reminisce about the days gone by. And then at around 11:45, it was off to the church for the midnight mass. And there wasn't a Saturday night mass like John had talked about at that time. I'm talking about 50 years ago, or when, way back at the turn of the century, you're my age, there was a midnight mass and people went and celebrated at midnight. Us kids were young at the time. We did not go to that, but the parents and everybody would go. And my grandfather would stay back, usually with us or whatever, and everybody else would go. Then the ride home from Wayland to Hornell, where I would usually fall asleep, but I'd always be watchful out the frosty windows of the car looking for Santa in the sky. And the ice on the windows, because the car had no heat in it hardly as a kid. I used to scratch the ice off so I could look, and I was falling asleep tired because it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, but I didn't want to miss Santa if he was going to be in the sky and I would see something, and I'm looking for anything that I could see as a kid, and I can remember that like it was yesterday. Once home, my dad would carry me in the house. Most times I was pretending I was asleep. I really wasn't sleeping, but I wanted to get carried into the house by my dad, so he'd pick us all up and carry us in one at a time into the house. And on Christmas morning, our family would come to our home, and we would open up gifts, eat a Christmas meal, always giving thanks first for what we had. And then we would play with the new toys until bedtime. And these were my childhood memories that I had as a child growing up, some of the things that we did. So let me turn over here to Kelly. Kelly, why don't you go ahead? Kelly LaCrosse from Bullfrog Realty. You can reach Kelly down there at 224-2024 down at Bullfrog Realty. She's just become a realtor. Congratulations, everybody. Give Kelly a congratulations. She got a real estate license.
Thank you very
much. And she's
going
to do a great job. So, Kelly, what's the what's the tradition in your home?
Well, I can remember being very, very, very little. Of course, we always, like you, we would go to Grandma's house. We would do the Christmas cookies with the old Christmas cutters and, the record player, just like what Elisa talked about. All the traditional Christmas music, and my grandmother would make all sorts of different cookies. But as a little girl, my mother always did for myself, and then my sister, when she came along, we always did like the 12 days of Christmas. So each of us would have a little teeny Christmas tree in our bedroom, and we would wake up, 12 days before Christmas. Every morning we'd wake up to a little gift, and she always told us it was Santa's elves that brought the gifts to us. So every year my sister and I both, we always look forward to that tradition and waking up every morning and, looking. And it was never anything big, just, something little, a little toy or whatever. And as I got older and as my children started coming, I would do that same tradition with them every year.
Nice, very good.
They would have a tree in their room, and I did it for my children till they were probably late teens. So that was something that we always did, every year, and I had continued with my children as well. So that was always something.
Very good, very good. So many really great memories. The clock is running on us, folks. This is a quick, fast and furious show. We are going to take another break right here, and we will be right back.
Remember, this holiday season, there's one thing that will surely warm the heart. And the feet. New vinyl replacement windows from Bullfrog Construction. It's time to kick off the holiday savings here at Bullfrog. If you've been thinking about replacing those old, leaky, inefficient windows, now is the time. Huge holiday savings and top quality Energy Star products add beauty, comfort, and reliability to your home. And Bullfrog's professional installation, well, that's what makes Bullfrog Construction the right choice for your new windows or your next home improvement project. Call us today at 585-737-4553 for a free quote and learn more about our year-end holiday promotion. That's 585-737-4553. And happy holidays from our pad to yours.
This is what Christmas is all about.
This is what the spirit of Christmas is all about.
That's what Christmas is all about.
And we are back, and we are joined this morning here on Your Home with some great guests this morning. We're talking about holiday traditions, and we've been having a great time this morning, and I thank you guys again for everybody showing up here. So, Val's a commercial loan officer at Maple City Savings Bank, a good friend of mine, and Val's got a unique story. So, amidst all the food, family, gifts, and celebration, for many, it's a difficult time, and I'd like to talk about this for a minute. And so I had asked Val if she could, because I asked her to come on to the show, and she shared what Christmas was at her house with me, and she has a little different perspective. So, Val, go ahead and tell us what it's like at your house.
So Christmas for me is a little bit different than what everybody else has been talking about here, for two reasons. First reason is my husband works for UPS. So Christmas for him is a very stressful time, so therefore it's a little stressful in our house. Second reason is my husband's father passed away at Christmas, so Christmas is not always the best time for us. But we're struggling through that, and it's been 13 years, since Ray's father passed away, and we're trying to get over it, but it's not something easy to get through.
Yeah,
so it's a little different for us.
So you can imagine what it's like at UPS. Talk about chaos during Christmas when your husband works there. It's long days at that time. I mean, they're ensuring that everybody gets the gifts that they need and so on and so forth. So not everybody. There's a lot of blues at Christmas time, and Pastor Brittany, I just want maybe you could talk about that just for a second, because I'm sure people have come to you regarding that. I don't feel really good at Christmas.
Yeah, so my husband is actually one of those people. He doesn't really enjoy Christmas. Christmas Day tends to go off without a hitch, but the whole thing leading up to it, because of his childhood, is just kind of a sad thing for him. And so one of the things that we have learned to build in is self-care. I know that it can be a really stressful time for everyone. Maybe you've lost a loved one, and so you're just kind of feeling down and, like Elise said, and kind of blue. And so I think self-care is probably one of the most important things. You might not have a lot of money, but you know what? If you have that one cup of coffee that is a selfish indulgence, so to speak, that you just want to go and get yourself and spend a few minutes to yourself and have that, I think that that's a really good thing to do, and I think a way to take care of yourself over the holidays if it is stressful.
And I that's really great advice, Brittany. The other thing is, all of us know somebody who may not be, who may be struggling with that. I think we have a responsibility to go to those people and make them feel welcome and let them know that, there's people that care about them. Maybe invite someone to your house or spend a few minutes with them, take them out to lunch or whatever. It doesn't take much to be a friend to somebody. And this is a time of year when we really need to try to do that, because, if you know someone that's lost a loved one or someone that's maybe not having the greatest Christmas, or they're without, or something's happened in their life, it's maybe a great time to spend some time with that person over the holidays. I want to read another one here quick before the show's over, and we're almost out of time here today, folks. This is from Fran Buck, and Fran is in Pennsylvania. Fran's written us, and she messaged me on Facebook, and she says, from the time my children were little and before all the Christmas craziness of Christmas morning and the gift opening and so on began, we always began the day with this little ceremony. I'd leave the manger empty from the time it was put up. On Christmas morning, while the children contained their excitement, my son would quietly carry the baby Jesus to the stable, gently put him in the palms of his little sister's hands, and she would place the baby in the manger. Then we'd stand as a family silently for a moment, and then and only then would the festivities begin. And so that was a great memory for her. And I know Fran, and she lost her husband when her children were very, very young. And so she spent a lot of Christmases, I'm sure, being everything, mother and father to her parents, or to her children. And so, that was a great memory that she shared with us as well. So, folks, this has been a great, great morning, and I don't want to end on a somber note. I want to end on a happy note. So if somebody has something that they can share with us that's real happy, everybody going shopping after on Black Friday? John, you going shopping?
Oh, probably.
Okay, Don, are you going to get out a little bit?
Not a lot.
Not a lot?
If I do, it'll just be a little bit of local stuff.
How about you, Brittany? You going to step out at all?
No way.
No way? You're not going to fight it? Bob, you got to be shopping, right?
Usually do, but not this year. We're not having dinner late.
How about you girls?
No Black Friday for me.
Well, I'm going to be at Lowe's, so you'll know where to find me. I'll be at Lowe's Black Friday shopping this year. So, I really appreciate you guys coming on this morning. It's been a fun show. I'd like to personally thank each of you for taking the time out of your day. I appreciate you joining me. It's been a great show, and most importantly, our listeners for tuning into your home. Hopefully you've enjoyed our time together this morning, and thanks to the staff here at WLEA. Brian, as always, you're great. Folks, join us on December 2nd at 9:30 a.m. when we'll be continuing to celebrate the holidays with several special guests. So mark your calendars, and also I have some breaking news. On December 16th, the good old guy in the red suit, Santa himself, will be joining me here on your home. Stay tuned for details. Grab your kids and grandkids. You're going to want to tune in for that's a show you're not going to want to miss. My name is Elise McCollumn from Bullfrog Construction, your host here on your home. Have a super holiday weekend, and remember, a house is made of bricks and beams. A home is made of hopes and dreams. Till next time, have a great day, everybody.